I mean, without a doubt, the level of elegance, refinement, attention to detail, fit and finish like a Swiss watch absolutely applies to this tool. Welcome back, everybody, to another gear review. I'm Aaron, coming at you with the Victorinox Spirit X multi-tool. Now, this is the very first multi-tool from Victorinox that I've ever done that has pliers on the head. I've done lots of their other smaller tools, you know, like the Cadet, the Pioneer, and a few other ones over the years, the Tinker, but this is the very first plier-based multi-tool I've ever done from Victorinox. To be honest, I've been a Leatherman really guy for a really long time, and I thought it would only be fitting to run in the Leatherman Wave Plus as just a kind of head-to-head competitive option today and see where this, you know, Spirit X, I mean, I feel like I need to have Static X, you know, speed metal playing in the background, tech metal. I don't know what that would be. What would that be called, guys? Tech metal, speed metal? Static X. But we're gonna run in that Wave regularly throughout this, because lots of people have the Leatherman Wave Plus. I mean, it's iconic, and they're right in that same ballpark. They're playing on the same field. They're going head to head, battling for our hard-earned money. And so let's just see what this, you know, Victorinox Swiss Army tool has to offer and where it might outperform or maybe lag behind its brethren here from across the sea in America. So we're gonna hit that price point right here out of the gate, just so we kind of know what we're talking about and dealing with. Now, the Spirit X currently, this base model, and that's what I have is the base model, is about $115 currently is what's kind of floating around. And then the Wave Plus is about $110. So they're right around that same price point. Now, the Spirit X has several different models. They have like a Plus version that's gonna be like $140, it looks like. And then they do now have an MX, which has a pocket clip and a thumb stud on the blade, so you can manipulate it one-handed. That one's gonna be like $150. And though it is cool that the Spirit X now has that pocket clip and, you know, thumb stud option, the Wave is gonna come standard with a pocket clip, with a pouch, and one-handed opening on the blade. We're not gonna get that with this version over here. It will not come standard with a pocket clip, and it does not come standard with a one-handed opening and operational blade. And so throughout this video, I will have links in the description box below, not only to my landing page where you can see all the affiliate programs that I regularly partner with, but also links for the Swiss X as well as the Wave and some of the accessories that we may discuss today. I do appreciate it if one of these two tools makes sense for you, or just gear purchases in general. If you use the hyperlinks offered in each of the videos, helps me to continue to do what I do here. And so with that, let's go ahead and carry on and break down the tool. So as I brought up a moment ago, I mean, ergonomically and just kind of like refinement levels are very noticeable out of the gate. This is a more ergonomic tool in your hand than most Leathermans, including the Wave. The Wave has some abrupt angle transitions, you know, where the cutouts are. And though it's, I mean, a really well built tool, you can just see more milling around all the edges, and all of the angles are more rounded and nothing is really exposed, so that when you grip a tool like this, though it's still a block, you know, of metal that you're holding, it feels much more ergonomic, a little more natural and just contouring. Whereas on most other multi-tools on the market, you're gonna feel just more edges, more abrupt transitions in your hand. If you're doing harder, you know, pressing and cutting and gripping type of tasks, you'll just note a level of ergonomics that the Swiss X is going to, or excuse me, the Spirit X is going to have. The next feature I want to point out is the locking mechanism. These little tabs here work, and they're ambidextrous on either side, and you just pull back and that will release every tool. So every tool opens up, locks, so now it's really nice and strong, but when it comes time to close it, you just pinch back and close. Certain tools you might be able to manipulate that one-handed. If you do it with your right hand, I'm right-handed, there you go. So you can close majority of them with one hand, so that's a really nice benefit. Unlike on most Leathermans, and particularly in this Wave, we have liner locks on the outside, which is fine and quick and easy to engage, you know, and close. But then on the interior, when we start looking at other tools, we have a lock back design that, again, if I depress, yes, I can close it, but I then have to open the tool and close it. So there's a lot more like manipulation and things that have to occur with the Wave and multi-tools like that, whereas we don't have that with the Spirit X, because all of the tools outside of the pliers are accessible from the exterior of the tool. So that is a big selling point, and I'll run down a few, and there's some definitely kind of unique, cool tools in here that you don't always get on every single multi-tool. So we're just gonna run down on this one side first. We got our wood saw that's gonna do, you know, all those smaller tasks, regardless if you're doing bushcraft or if you're doing carpentry, and it works fine. It's narrower than what you're gonna get on the Wave, but it seems to operate just as well as any other, you know, multi-tool saw that you're gonna get. The next up, we're gonna have a really nice awl that really works well and has a very nice sharp edge to it. So that's gonna help pierce and penetrate, particularly denser material like deep leather, thick leather, things like that. And then next up, we're gonna have our, you know, bottle lifter, our flathead screwdriver, as well as our wire stripper. And what I like about this over a lot of smaller, you know, non-pliered Swiss Army tools is that it extends about another inch, so you get a little bit more reach to do different tasks. So I like that. So nothing to write home about, but a good tool right there. This is a cool, unique tool you're not going to get on a lot of others that I've seen. And what we have here is a sharpened kind of chisel edge right here, as well as a sharpened edge right in here, and another sharpened edge in here to help strip different types of wire and different types of stripping and to pry with. So you get this kind of chisel feature with some sharp edges. This would be an excellent point to throw sparks off with a fire steel if you were using this, you know, as a bushcraft tool or in a survival kit. This is like ideal for that and would work really well. The rest of the edges, for the most part, outside of like the file and things, are all rounded, so there aren't that many sharp edges. That would be an excellent place to do that. Then we are going to get our blade, which is a pretty unique kind of style. I like it. It's got like a little sweep to it. It's got the classic, you know, Swiss Army drop. It's got the nail nick, so you're going to have to use two hands to open the blade. So if you use a knife a lot in your multi-tool, that is a huge benefit to the Wave and multi-tools like it, is just that simple one-handed action, you know, on the tool. And then the type of, you know, edge geometry, all of that. This is basically a full flat grind. You're gonna get like a hollow grind on the Wave, and it has, you know, a decent steel. It's like a Rockwell 56. It's a basic stainless, easy to resharpen. It's gonna dull pretty quick, so you know you're gonna have to put an edge back on it like most multi-tool steels, unless you start getting into like S30V, you know, and you're gonna be paying a lot more on your multi-tools for something like that. But good reach at about 3 inches overall, and just a very comfortable. Again, if you were having to make feather sticks or just do a lot, you're like, man, I gotta break down like 6 boxes right now, 10 boxes, you know, whatever. This is gonna feel very comfortable in the hand, very natural with your cutting, and then you can still do the pinch off the lock and then close it, and that locking mechanism holds up really well. So for basic utility outside of the two-handed, and there is the one-handed option, but you're going to be paying close to $40 more to get just that feature in a pocket clip. So keep that in mind as you are looking at tools and what makes sense to you and how you use multi-tools. Now, though the plain edge can work really well, there is only one blade on the Spirit X, whereas the Wave is going to have a secondary safety knife with heavy serration for going through lots of cordage and other things like that. So if that's, you know, something that you see value in, the Spirit X won't have that. The Leatherman does. Then as we flip to the other side here, we have our file. Nice, works good. The back spine is unfiled, if you will, and then we have, you know, light, medium, and then we have a super coarse on the edge as well, so you can cut through certain types of metals. Then you got your classic can opener, you know, in mini flathead design. Then we have here a 3D Phillips head driver screwdriver that's very unique. It kind of flares out. It will grab, I would say, about 75% of the Phillips head screws that I've had without causing damage to them. Just so the way it is, there were a few that it was kind of acting weird with. Most of them, it's fine. The nice thing is you are going to get some more reach over the Wave. You know, you're going to get like an extra inch, which is really nice. I like that. You get a little deeper, you know, get into tighter points easier. The one thing though is that the Wave is going to come, this is a flathead bit. It's going to come with a flathead as well as a Phillips head right here, and can be swapped through all of their other bit kits. And you can even get versions that do, you know, even have the bit kit standard. So not that this is bad, and it does get the job done most of the time, but I can adjust between like a small Phillips and a large Phillips, and I can do flathead, and I can do square bolts, and I can do all kinds of stuff with the Leatherman that this particular option is not going to offer to me. So just depends on how often you think you're going to use separate bits and Phillips head drivers in general. Then we have like a mini flathead, which is nice, and I like that one. I think it's kind of competing with like the eyeglass flathead Phillips head that Leatherman has. Some of you, like, I've discovered this is like indispensable to you. I don't use it that much. I would probably be using this more frequently, but this does rotate, and now I have a Phillips mini as well. So there's definitely a lot more variety of bits and changing and more compact on the Wave than what you would get on the Swiss X. So it just kind of depends on how small and how often you are changing out your bits from like Phillips and flats, then the Wave may be the better option. Now I know I'm going to probably be releasing a firestorm at this point. On the Spirit X, you get these large, definitely more reach and nice and springy, really smooth and consistent scissors. So that's all good, no complaints there in that sense. Here's what I've discovered though. I way prefer the scissors on my Leatherman. Even though they're rougher, it's like, I can kind of feel it. I actually have more edge to work with, so I can get in and cut things a little bit bigger, and I can go way out here if I need to kind of get around a larger object to cut and still, you know, got spring to it. This is as wide as these guys are gonna go. So basically string is about all, or very small snipping is what I've discovered. And I was actually having trouble. I was doing some wrapping paper recently as we were moving back into the house. I didn't have scissors near me, you know, like normal scissors. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll use these. And it was driving me nuts. And I went back to my, you know, normal Leatherman to do that. So if you were to ask me, it does have scissors. They are nice and smooth and snappy. But if you're asking me, hey, which scissors do you prefer? It's the Leatherman ones, dun, dun, dun. So those are all the tools on the exterior. And then if we open it up, nice and smooth, good smooth action on the pliers there. And as I was stating again earlier, it just feels very comfortable, ergonomic when you are doing a grip, if you're having to cut, you know, wire or work with it. The nice thing about the Wave though is the interior has all been rounded, so they gave you good grip and ergonomics to really grab onto and clench if necessary. Now, another attribute here is that with the head on the Spirit X, you're not going to get replaceable plier teeth. So you're going to definitely, it does a good job. It cuts through basically everything that this Leatherman does. But you're going to probably be a little bit more conscientious, a little bit more careful. Whereas with the Leatherman, I mean, worst case scenario, I bend and damage my teeth, I unscrew them. Yes, it's like a $20 investment, I believe, as of last time I checked, to replace the teeth. But boom, then I just replace them and I keep on trucking versus having to invest in a whole nother $100 or so with the tool. So yes, it has hard and soft, you know, cut portions on those teeth. They've functioned well through the different types of material that I've gone through, but that is something that I noticed. You know, you're getting replaceable teeth. Some people love it, some people don't. On the Leathermans, these, they do not offer that currently. So keep that in kind of consideration. And you're going to see that the grip points are a little bit larger on the Swiss X. You have a few more teeth that extend further down the nose than on the Leatherman. The Leatherman will have a slightly more piercing tip. The Swiss tool is a little bit more rounded, and then a little bit more snub nose in general. So, I mean, they both function, and there's not too much of a difference. If you're really into needle nose, the Leatherman will have a little bit more of that. If you prefer a little bit more blunt, the Swiss X, or I keep saying Swiss X, the Spirit X is going to have that. So to conclude my kind of feeling on these two tools, though the Spirit X absolutely has that level of quality, fit and finish, refinement, and has some cool tools on it that my, you know, Leatherman Wave particularly does not have, and most of my other, you know, multi-tool collection doesn't have. That chisel tool is really cool and unique to me, and just some of the other features. And I'm not going to be getting rid of this, but if you were to ask me tomorrow, hey, you got, you know, some tasks to do and you need to grab a multi-tool, which one would I be grabbing? I'm just going to go with the Wave. I'm just more familiar with it. I feel like some of the attributes give me a little bit more in my life to work with the interchanging of bits. I tend to be using those a lot more. I prefer to carry it on the pocket clip than having to do a dedicated pouch or invest, you know, a lot more money to get a pocket clip on this thing for about the same cost of the tools themselves currently. So that's my take. Though very cool, and though it does absolutely have a place in the multi-tool world, it doesn't dethrone my Leatherman Wave or my Leatherman Charge from that kind of heavy duty, I would say mid to heavy, you know, bulky, full-size multi-tool collection and usage, and I gravitate still more to my Leathermans. But I look forward to hearing from you guys. I'm sure I'm going to be kicking in the hornet's nest with some of this, and I look forward to hearing what you guys think. Which one do you gravitate to more? Which one do you use more? And which one do you think best suits your needs? Appreciate you guys so much, and I look forward to hearing the discussion and what your guys' thoughts are coming up in this video. So leave a comment, like, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.